Oh hi. Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, the city of the central submission, is located on the river Tonle Sap, at her confluence with the Mekong River. The population minus 1,501,725 inhabitants. 2012. I arose in 1372. According to a legend, it is based by the nun by the name of the Stub who saw Mekong floating down the river, a tree trunk in which branches something shone. It turned out that it is 4 bronze statues of Buddha and 1 stone. Statues, probably, were washed away from one of the Laotian temples. With Penh's assistance near her house, the big hill was filled. And the altar on which sculptures were placed is established. Subsequently on this place there was a monastery Phnom. By Pn. Don. Pen the hill. Mothers. Pen in Khmer designates. Phnom Penh was known before under the name Krong Thai Tomak, the city on merge of 4 rivers. The matter is that the city is located on confluence Mekong, Bassac and Tonle Sap, which form the letter 10. For the first time the capital the city became in 1431 when the king Pongia, yet ruling at the time, running from the Thai defeat, transferred the capital from Angkor Thom. Remains of Pongia Yat and royal family are stored in a mortar on Phnom. Phnom Penh remained the royal capital within 73 years from 1432 to 1505. Then it was left by the subsequent kings for 360 years because of fight for a throne. The capital several times moved and was in Sri Sankar, in Pausat, in Lavake, in Udonj. Only in 1866, in government of the King Norodom I, Phnom Penh I became the constant location of the government and the capital of Cambodia, and also the place in which the royal palace was built. Since 1878 years, the French colonial authorities turned the small village on the river into the city, in which they constructed hotels, schools, prisons, barracks, banks, offices, telegraph, courts and hospitals. In 1872 the modern city for the first time took shape when the French signed the contract with the contractor of La Faucher for construction of 300 stone houses for sale and leasing to the Chinese dealers. All know the building of the Dog Kaimi, the new market, built by the French. By 1920 years Phnom Penh was known already as an Asian pearl, and in the next 40 years continued to develop quickly, especially with construction of the railroad to Sihanoukville and the international airport Pakenton. In Sihanouk's government infrastructure of Phnom Penh underwent thorough modernization. During the Vietnamese War, the territory of Cambodia was used for bases of the North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong, and thousands of refugees rushed to the city from the whole country, escaping from fighting between government troops, the North Vietnamese Army, troops of the southern Vietnam by both their allies, and the Khmer Rouge. By 1975 the population of the city was already about 3 million, the majority of which there were refugees. The Khmer Rouge took the city on April 17, 1975. Most of inhabitants was evacuated in labor the camp in rural areas. The higher school Tuol Sleng was turned by Pol Potovets into S-21 prison.
Pol Pot wanted to return the country to agrarian economy, and his car eliminated excess people, political opponents, national
minority, Buddhist monks and just educated people.
Many people died of hunger as a result of a failure of economic model of agrarian society. Cambodia sold rice to China in exchange for weapon.
S-21 prison. Now the Museum of Genocide tools slain where tools of tortures of Pol Potovets and the photo of their victims are exhibited. The victims killed on fields of death in Chengjek in 15 came from Phnom Penh and Dug in Nam Indiges. Now this place is a memorial to the victims of the Mode 2. On January 7, 1979, the Vietnamese army beat out the Khmer Rouge from Phnom Penh, and people began to come back to the city. Historically, Cambodia had many conflicts with Vietnam, therefore the fact of release of the country by Vietnamese causes the mixed emotions in Cambodians. The restoration period began, the government attracted foreign investments and the help, first of all such countries as France, Australia and Japan. On loans of Asian Development Bank and World Bank, water supply, roads and other infrastructure was restored. The census of 1998 counted card inhabitants in Phnom Penh. In 2008 in the city there were already 1.3 million people.
Phnom Penh is in the southern part of the central region of Cambodia, and is completely surrounded with the territory of the province of Kandal.
The capital district is located on coast of the rivers Tonle Sap, Mekong and Bassac. These rivers are a source of fresh water and other natural resources for the city. Phnom Penh is at the height of 11.89 m above sea level. The risk of flooding of some areas during a rainy season when the rivers can flood banks is high.
The city occupies the space in 290 km.
Agricultural grounds in the district occupy the space in 33.67 km.
13 miles.
In Phnom Penh, subequatorial climate with a pronounced dry season and a rainy season. Climate hot all the year round, with insignificant fluctuations of temperature. Temperature in the city varies from 18 up to 38 C. From May to October from the Gulf of Thailand damp monsoons blow. Northeast monsoons bring a dry season from November to April.
The most large amount of rainfall drops out in the city during the period from August to October, the driest months, January and February. The best period for a visit of Phnom Penh, from November to January, when temperature and humidity are lower than in other months.
Complex of the Royal Palace. The Royal Palace was built twice. In 1434, then the royal family moved to Udon, to the north from Phnom Penh. The present palace was built in 1866. The palace complex represents almost a square with the party in 425 meters. It is enclosed with high walls. Silver Pagoda. Independence Monument. National Museum of Cambodia. Olympic Stadium. Stadium at which the Olympic Games were never held. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.